Cancer. Greetings and salutations, my friends. We're going to rock out your 5-card movie star spread today. So let's see where we... Ooh. Well... Cancer, the worst is over. At least we got that much going for us. So... here you are really pushing forward with some change. You're not doing this because you want to do it. You're doing this because you have to do it. Like, you didn't intend for this to come through. You didn't intend for the change to have to happen so quickly. You know, you had another plan. You had a more persuasive way that you were going to go about this, but now you have to use sheer force. And you're kind of remorseful about it. You didn't want it to happen this way because you know it's going to cause more chaos and conflict than you actually want to deal with. However, if you don't force other people to deal with it, then you carry this weight all by yourself. Right? This load is getting heavy, and you have 2 10s on the board. 10s are about endings and beginnings. I call this one I call this card the burden of responsibility, because each one of these things was picked up either out of passion or necessity, right? And there is new growth attached to all of these things, but you're bearing the weight by yourself, so much so it is hard to see your way forward. Right? And this is your overall theme. The burden is a lot to bear right now, and it is time for you to lighten your load. The other 10 that you got is in the journey position. And this is the death of an idea, right? And that's what it is. It's you can't ignore the red flags anymore. You can't pretend that things are going to get better. You just have to accept that things are not going to work out the way you intended. So, like I said, the worst is over. The pinnacle of you bearing the whole load and you taking on all the strife is over. Because you refuse to put yourself in a box to spare everybody else their pain. You're like, I'm done. I'm done. It feels to me, Cancer, like you put up with more than you ever would have intended. You sacrificed your happiness for comfortability for so long, it got to the point where you just couldn't even pretend you were comfortable anymore. You know? It was like something happened and that was the last straw, and you were like, ugh. You know, it's kind of like... How do it's like you're capable of doing it, but you don't want to do it anymore. It's almost like you had all of these responsibilities, and then for a moment somebody shared these responsibilities with you, and then boom, that person was gone, you know? And now it all falls back on you again, and you're like, I don't want to go back to doing this all by myself anymore. I don't want to go back to carrying this whole load, you know? The person or the entity or the energy or the concept that was helping me along the way is no longer there, and I'm not going to take this all on myself. I can do it, but I don't want to anymore. It's not fair. Yeah, see? You were the person. You were staying grounded and holding on to all of the resources and making everything work, and now you're just like, I don't want to be the glue that holds all this together anymore. You know, I can either be somebody else's knight in shining armor, or I can be my own knight in shining armor and get myself the fuck out of this situation. Whether you stay, because this is about contemplation and this is about a new perspective, but it also represents sacrifice. So whether you stay or whether you go, you recognize something needs to be sacrificed. So do you want to sacrifice yourself for everybody else? Or do you want to make some sacrifices out of self-preservation to get yourself out of a situation where everything, all the responsibility constantly falls on you? Not only your responsibility, but other people's responsibilities. Despite the fact that you know how to make it work without having to take on the full load, it's almost like it's almost like you know how it can work, but you have to convince a large group of people or somebody else or you know what I mean? There's a group here. You have to convince the rest of the group, and you're just like, well, but if they don't, then I'm just picking up their slack, and you know what? It's just not worth it anymore. This is what Cancer. I feel like you're the workhorse in this relationship. Now, I don't know if this is a close personal relationship, a friend, a family member, maybe even a romantic partner. I don't know. This could be a vocational relationship or a group dynamic, you know? And you're the one who's always making it work. What I see here is somebody contemplating, what if I just don't make it work anymore? What are the consequences then? You know? If I stop enabling people, then what? And by saving everybody for as long as you have, that's exactly what you've done. You've enabled this type of behavior. So you either have to continue to enable, you have to leave the situation, or you have to speak out against it. Those are your choices. But everybody's situation is going to be a little different. But can you free yourself from all of these burdens and all of this pain? Don't put yourself in a box. Don't lock yourself and trap yourself in a situation again, hoping that somebody else will come by and just help you bear that load. You have to speak up for yourself. This is an act of self-preservation, Cancer. Do what you got to do. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I'll see you next time.